Well, good evening and welcome to Porch Talk. I'm Paul W. Marino. Down the other end of the table is Ed Morandi.
That's me.
And in between us are our two guests from McCann. And what is the organization again?
Skills USA.
Skills USA. That person who just answered the question is Nathan Richardson, one of the many little children I used to torture up in Florida. And next to him is his partner, Jack Gibo. Are you the same Jack that went up the hill with Jill to fetch a pail of water?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you the one that jumped over the candlestick and burned the house down?
Oh boy.
I believe both of them were him.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Just to fill you in a little bit, Nathan is the president of the Skills. Okay, and Nathan is the senior at McCann's, and he's in the electrical department.
That is correct.
And Mr. Gibo is also a senior, and he's in technology. And what I found out before the show is both of these gentlemen want to pursue their vocation in helping people as nurses. So there we are.
Well, I know Nathan would look good in a dress. A white dress, yes, very nice.
Yes, can't forget about the hat with the little red.
Oh, yes, the hat is absolutely adorable.
A couple of questions for you gentlemen is, how do you get chosen for the team? Is it on point grade average, or is it your work, or what?
Well, there's a few things that'll have to be factored in when you're applying to be an officer for the Skills USA organization with the school. One of them is your grades, like you said. Also, you have to write an essay stating why you want to be an officer and what type of skills and traits you think you could bring forward to the team. While you're on the team, you also have to maintain at least a 75 in all of your classes. You have to be passing.
Very good. Now, I know you're the president, but in the electrical department, does everybody from the electrical department on the Skills, or just certain individuals?
I actually, I believe I'm the only one in the senior class on the electrical department in Skills. We have a mix from every shop that wants to, or that is on the chapter team, but not everyone has to.
You don't have to go for the Skills USA, do you? To be on the team, or
once you join McCann, everyone is technically a member of Skills USA.
Okay.
But inside the team, each school has their own chapter of Skills USA. I'm the president of our chapter, but there's national officers. There's president for national. There's state officers. I'm just the chapter president for McCann Tech.
So I'm going to ask Jack this question: is what takes place during the competition? What do you have to do when you actually go to compete with other schools? What program? What do they put in front of you to solve?
So usually for your competition, for whatever vocational shop you choose, you do go into competitions like that. So for example, I'm in information technology, which is computer-based.
Right.
Most of the time we do a website. We have to build a website within a certain amount of time, but the competition is basically to demonstrate your skill in your trade and to show that you can do a task in a timely manner.
Wow. And the same with the electrical department?
Yep. For the competition that I ended up competing in this year was called Industrial Motor Control. So that's the whole entire, the push button starters, the motor starters, all that type of stuff. It's more of an industrial and commercial type side of the electrical field. And in the shop, you actually build a job, and it has to be running. You have to do a print for it. And whoever has the neatest, nicest, and best functioning job gets sent on to the district competition. In the districts, you kind of just do a testing. You got to do a theory quiz, basically. And we actually had that today at McCann.
So you practice during the school time for the Skills USA? It's in-school practice?
Yep.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Now, how are you going from this to nursing? Because it sounds like you're building a brilliant career in electronics.
Well, for me, I've always got satisfaction out of helping others. I liked electrical when I started it, and I still love electrical. I just don't see myself pursuing that as a career. I'd have much more gratification and satisfaction pursuing a career where I can make a difference in someone's life.
Do you have any idea of what branch of nursing you want to get into?
I was either thinking, it's very broad, my two ideas, but I was thinking either pediatrics or trauma.
Yeah, pediatrics, I could see a lot of good coming out of that, especially the way hospitals are run now. Yeah, when I was a child, pediatrics was a hellish place to be. And children were essentially considered to be little adults. I have some stories that'll curl your hair.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So, yeah, I envy children that are in the hospital now. Well, not because they're sick, of course, but they're getting much better care.
Much better
yeah.
care now, yes. Oh, wow, excuse me. Now, is there a nursing program at McCann's? There is, isn't there?
Yes.
LPN or?
Yes, there is a post-secondary program for nursing. It takes place throughout a year. It starts on January 2nd, and then it goes to a little bit after Thanksgiving, I believe. And it gets you prepared and ready for the LPN exam. The LPN exam isn't distributed right after the quiz. You can go and take your LPN, but it does get you ready.
And you told me earlier that's what you're going to do next year?
Yes.
And you are going to UMass?
Hopefully.
Hope to go to UMass?
I sent in my application and it's pending right now, but I'm crossing my fingers hoping it'll go through.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very
best
good.
of luck there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Both my brothers went to UMass Amherst.
How'd they like it?
They liked it fine.
Wow.
At least I haven't heard any nasty stories about it. And while we are at this path, Eric, would you please put the photo in front of us? It's time once again, folks, for the history quiz. Ah, there it comes. Now, this photograph was taken in 1911. It's looking north down.
Did you take it?
Oh, yes, I did. Thank you. Grabbed it right off the wall. This photo was taken in 1911, looking north toward Main Street. The building that you see there in the center is actually North Adams' first 6-story building. More about that on a different show. But here's the thing. There are no less than 6 hotels visible here. 6 hotels. The history question for this evening is, you have to name 3 of them. And hey, if you want bragging rights that are worth having, give us a call, 664-4408, and tell us the names of 3 of those hotels. And just to give you a little extra help, I'm going to give you another hint. 3 of them start with the letter W.
I have to excuse myself from this.
Yes.
Because I know Motel 6 is one of them, right?
No.
You said 6.
Oh, hoy vey.
No, I'm going to have to excuse myself
All right,
from this one.
Eric, you can put us in front. There we are. So if you have an answer, or you think you have an answer, or you just have something you want to talk about, this is a live call-in show. Please give us a call, 664-4408. So, gentlemen.
Yes.
No, I said gentlemen. I
I'm
was
sorry.
talking to them. Yeah. What else do we have to discuss over here?
Well, I am going to ask them, like, what did they do at their last competition as a group? Not in your individual electronics or technology, but as a group, how did you fare? You won the competition?
Well, every year McCann actually places very well. We have a lot of gold medalists, got a lot of silver, a lot of bronze. A lot of people move on to the state competition. And last year we actually had a team go on to the national competition and get gold place in their trade, which was automated manufacturing technology.
Wow.
A lot of doors get opened at that point, because that's basically saying you are the best at what you do in the youth coming up.
Okay, because when I graduated from high school, McCann's was not there, of course. And there was a little controversy on McCann starting what they were going to do, and they were going to take the program out of Drury High School and bring it down to McCann School. And they wanted to know what's going to happen now. Can you, too, explain to the audience the towns that are involved with McCann? Well, let's give it the right name. It's McCann Vocational Regional School. That's so. What does this encompass? The region? And I know it's North Adams and Adams, but
There's, correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, but I believe it's North Adams, Florida, Adams, Savoy,
Stamford.
Yep, is or there's
Cheshire.
Reedsboro, Cheshire. You said North Adams,
Williamstown
Well, I think you can if you're in Williamstown. Yep.
and Clarksburg.
Clarksburg. Yep.
Okay.
Is there anything I'm missing? Is New Ashford in that?
I think so. I'm
Well,
pretty sure
actually, anyone can go for school choice, can't they?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
So in the city, well, it'd be the town, unless they're from Pittsfield. The town would pick up the expenses. They would pay for the students' tuition. So you do have children from out of the area that go to McCann School? Because I know there was a girl from Hoosick Falls that went to McCann School for nursing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she came over and went for nursing. This was a long time ago. But saying that, I know Jim Brosnan is the head of the school. Who would just relate to us? Who's the principal down there now? I know Bob Gatler's not there, and Fran Millard is upstairs working. Who's the principal down there now?
Justin Kratz.
Justin, that's right too. I contacted him by email. Very nice gentleman.
Indeed.
Very nice. Yes.
And of course, you also have a superintendent.
That's Jim Brosnan.
Jim Brosnan, yes. And then in the office you have, my wife's not there any longer. But,
Oh,
yeah, I know. I know.
well,
What
of
up?
course, the thing that occurs to me is McCann was originally started as a school for kids who weren't planning to go to college. You know,
Correct.
it's
Yeah.
where you went to learn a trade, such as electronics or woodworking or whatever. Whereabouts did that start changing? Or are you not the right person to ask about that?
I don't believe I'd be the right person to ask about that, but I know that that is still thought to be believed as true. There's still that stigma that people who go to McCann can't or won't go to college, but we do have high numbers. I can't tell you a percentage, but we have a lot of graduating students who move on to college.
Oh, yes,
Yes,
yeah,
that's
I know
correct,
that.
yeah.
But I wouldn't say that it's a bad thing to go there because you're not planning on college.
Oh, not at all, no. You get a great education in the vocation that you're looking into.
And that's why you're going into nursing.
Nobody's calling in on those hotels.
Well, it's still early, and I know we're on live this time. Last month, I made a boo-boo and forgot to put us on live, so we weren't on live for the first 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But you don't have that excuse this time.
I know, I got home early and called you up and couldn't get through. I said, wait a minute.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, there was something else that popped into my head when I was doing this here. Let me think about it for a while. Go ahead, Paul, ask another question.
All right. What do you think of on the... Oh, my goodness, the sensors are everywhere. Tell you what, I'll do some announcements.
Okay.
As long as there's a lull in the conversation. Northern Berkshire Stroke Support Group is meeting at the Spitzer Center, which is where the North Adams Council on Aging is, on Ashland Street. The second Thursday of each month, 12 noon to 2 p.m. For info, you can call Corrine Case at 413-242-4495. She also does a grief support group at the Harper Center in Williamstown on Fridays from 2 p.m. to 3:30. And that group is beginning on the 30th of this month, which is what day? And that's the McCann education for you. Sorry, I couldn't resist that.
You'll hear from them.
I'm sure I will.
What day is it on, the 31st?
No, the 30th.
That's on a Friday.
All right. Oh, I hear a phone call out there. All right, so while we're waiting, I will continue with this announcement. International Women's Day celebration has been rescheduled a couple of times, and it's going to be on Thursday, April 12, starting at 5 p.m. at Flavors of Malaysia at 62 McKay Street in Pittsfield. A social hour starts at 5, followed by a buffet dinner at 6. $35 includes tax and tip, and of course there is a cash bar. And we have a phone call.
Okay, welcome to Porch Talk. Hello?
Hello. Hello. My name is Joan, and I'm from Adams. I was just wondering, do you folks engage in any community service with the Skills USA program?
Yes, we do. We have actually, that's one side of skills that most people don't actually know about. We do all sorts of community service. Actually, this winter, we've done it the past couple of years for Christmas. We've had giving trees with names of children at the Lewison House on a tree that's located in the main office. And people come take the names and they go out and purchase gifts for the children at the Lewison House so they can have a nice Christmas.
Very nice.
That's wonderful.
And while you asked that question, my next thing on my brochure here was the North Adams Historical Society. These gentlemen were not involved in it at the time, but at the time Bob Davis brought his electrical team down and rewired the second floor to get within code for the city of North Adams. And then Nancy Wood did actually the porch down there. They brought the students down there and they erected the porch. Greenberg's, when they were, of course, in operation, Greenberg supplied all the lumbers for that there. And the teams down there, the electrical team and the carpentry, must have spent a week each down there working. Also, they also do in the fab shop, they make wrought iron rails for a few of the places in North Adams where you see wrought iron rails. Probably made at McCann. Wrong.
Oh.
Wrought. W-R-O-G-H-T. Yeah. I went to jury. So
wow,
they
great.
actually.
Thank you.
Now, before you hang up, are you still there?
I am.
Would you like to make a guess at the names of 3 of the 6 hotels in the photo?
It wouldn't be the Holiday Inn.
Unfortunately, no. The Holiday Inn did not exist in 1911, but thank you for trying.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
What was the name of that organization that's doing this?
This is the Elizabeth Freeman Center. You need to hang up. Press the red button. There you go.
We have to hang up on this now? I didn't know that. We never had to.
Yeah, it helps.
Okay.
So this is being done by the Freeman Center, the Elizabeth Freeman Center,
International Women's
which
Day. Well, I think,
assists women who are actually men too, who are victims of domestic abuse. Mm-hmm. And of course, you know who Elizabeth Freeman was. Oh, a good nod. All right, who was she?
On to you, Jack.
I'll get dumped off.
All right, well, you're
that
going to
was
learn something today.
That was Mr. Freeman's wife.
Yep.
Of course.
No, Elizabeth Freeman was a slave in Great Barrington. She had a burn on her arm. The thing is, the lady of the house had a very violent temper. And one evening, Elizabeth, who was also known as Mum Bet, was cooking dinner, and one of the other slaves took a piece of meat out of the pot that she was going to get anyway. And the lady of the house was outraged. She took the poker from the fire and went to hit the girl. Mum Bet put her arm up and took the blow herself.
Oh, wow.
So there were men who came to the house to talk about the coming revolution. And she approached one of them, Mr. Sedgwick, who was an attorney based in Stockbridge, and asked him, I'm hearing all this talk about freedom. Can you sue for my freedom? So he did, took the case to court, and won. And that's why she took the name Elizabeth Freeman.
Oh.
And when she won her freedom, her former master asked her if she could stay on as a paid servant. She refused and went to work for the Sedgwicks. And in fact, one of the Sedgwick daughters asked her why freedom was so important, and she told her that if I was told that I was going to be free for 1 minute, and at the end of that minute I'd have to die, I would take the freedom, because for 1 minute I would be a free woman on God's earth. And in fact, there's a book by that title about her and the landmark case. That was one of a handful of cases that changed the mind of most of Massachusetts about how they felt about slavery.
Really?
So while slavery was still legal in the North until the end of the Civil War, when the Constitution was amended, the only people in Massachusetts who still wanted to own slaves had to call them indentured servants. Otherwise, Massachusetts people did not want slavery here.
Well,
Now, when you go to school, you can tell your history teacher that story
I will.
Absolutely.
and slap him up across the back of his head for not telling you himself.
Who is the history teacher in McCann?
We have two, Kenneth Recor.
Is it Kenneth or is it just Ken?
I believe it's just Ken.
Ken Recor, he teaches the freshman and sophomore classes about
Okay.
U.S. history, and then we have Mary Dabrowski, who is retiring this year.
And she teaches.
She teaches world history. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, Jack, we had a question that they asked about the community service. Would you like to go in a little bit more depth about what we do with community service?
Yeah, sure. So, like as Nathan said, we work with the Lewison House quite frequently, but also something we do is we help out with the local Meals on Wheels. And one Saturday a month, we do go over to the All Saints Church near the Planet Fitness in North Adams, and we help package pre-made meals, and they deliver it to the people who cannot leave their houses or for whatever reason they need meals delivered to their houses. And that's just one of the many community service opportunities Skills USA does for the local district.
And now,
Cool.
is it just skills team, or do you have other students from McCann to help you?
I believe just skills, although I think it is open to
It's open?
We're open to having any student come help us, but for the most part, it's just our skills team.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And while we're on that subject, I want to toss in another announcement. This is one I came across just today, the Berkshire Nonprofit Awards. If you're as impressed as I am about what these guys do, you can nominate them for a nonprofit award. There are 7 award categories: executive leadership, board member, super staffer, unsung hero. Is anyone singing about you guys?
I sing quite a bit.
I was going to say, I have.
Yes, but
questions for
about
that.
you.
I can sing a tune about myself.
All right, well, you don't manage to be unsung hero, but there's rising star, there's volunteer and lifetime achievement. Nomination forms are available at www.npc, N as in Nancy, P as in Paul, C as in Cynthia, Berkshires.org. Excuse me. And there will be an awards breakfast on May 22 at the Country Club of Pittsfield. And I think this is a great thing to recognize people for the volunteer work they do, especially you young people who are showing the rest of us up, you stinking.
One thing we actually have planned for the near future in the springtime, we're hoping that we can coordinate a day that we can go over to the Hillside Cemetery and clean some headstones up.
Yep, that's an excellent thing to do. Have you talked to Roger Urban yet?
I haven't talked with him specifically, but we have a different committees in each or in our chapter, and the community service committee has been reaching out. I'm not sure who their contact is, but I'll keep that name in mind.
Yeah, Roger Urban is the one to talk to, and it's a strange spelling. It's EURBIN.
Okay.
I'll bet you never heard Roger spelled that way before, have you?
I was just looking up his phone number for him.
Oh. So while you're doing that, what else do I have here on my magic list? Oh, yes. Do you have concerns about falling? This is an excellent program for senior citizens or really anyone who is interested in learning how not to fall and actually how to fall properly so you can avoid injuring yourself and how to get up and so on. These are led by Brett Beatty and Amanda Chilson, both of the Northern Berkshire Community Coalition. It's a series of 8 classes that include tips to reduce fear of falling and increase strength and balance. It starts April 9 at 9 a.m. at the Adams Visitor Center and the Council on Aging, 3 Hoosick Street in Adams, in the first floor. If you are interested in this, please call 413-445-9232. Pre-registration is required because class size is very limited.
I did take that class up to Florida Mountain, and both Brett and Amanda, is it Amanda?
Yes.
That's Jason's wife.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Both of them, very excellent, nice teachers, and I'll tell you something, the group is wonderful. I don't know how they did it, but they congealed us all together so that we formed a functional group, okay? And we did 8 or 9 weeks of it, and at the end, we didn't have a cap and gown ceremony, but we did get a certificate that we took the course, and it was good. And the best part, which you would like, is that every week one of the ladies brought a cake or something in, and I know.
My language.
I know.
Yeah, I'll take that
I was gonna say, I might have to sign up.
And I won't tell you what happened after I finished the course. Okay, I will.
You fell up.
The next night after I finished the course, Joan's listening to me out there, all right? I heard a coyote outside, so I got up. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Shh, don't put the light on. I want to go see." I tiptoed to the window, and I looked out, and I couldn't see the coyote, but I still heard him, and he was getting further away, and I said, "Oh, he's gone." I walked back, tripped over my house slippers, and went down like a ton of bricks and hit my head on the door casing. I was embarrassed more than anything else.
I should think so.
Yes.
Especially one of the lessons in that is learning how to fall
How
properly.
to fall, I did. You know, and that's the funny thing, Paul. When I fell, I learned enough to switch and go down on my opposite hand that I use, so that it didn't, you know. But that was one of the things that I learned. how to fall properly.
Now, you guys, don't be afraid to drink your tea. You have to drink it now while the toxin is still fresh.
Where'd you get the tea, Paul? Jim Jones didn't.
No, big wine.
Big well. Oh, okay, I thought maybe it was from Jim Jones and Guyana.
Well, while you were reading your announcements, I swapped ours.
Oh, I knew you'd do that. All right, so tell us more.
What do you want to learn?
We want to know how you get to these competitions. Supply a school bus, you all get on the bus and go, or?
Depending on which, the districts and the local competitions are both held in McCann.
Oh, okay.
So there's not much traveling for that. For the districts, you have to get yourself to McCann. There's no buses that run that day because it's not a school day for the rest of the school. And when it comes to the state competitions, we get, for the most part, for the years that I've done it, they've had a tour bus, or a coach bus actually, come, and we load up the bus and we head on over to Marlborough, Massachusetts.
Marlboro?
Yep. At the Best Western, it's the Plaza and Trade Center.
All right. I've been to Marlboro before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they go to New Marlboro.
No, New Marlboro is down off to...
No, we go to Marlboro.
Marlboro.
Over on the...
Oh, so you go to Old Marlboro.
Yes, Marlboro. Yeah, New Marlboro is over Route 57, isn't it? Along the... It's in northern Berkshire, isn't it? Or no, Franklin County.
No, there is a Marlboro in South County. Yeah, I think it's New Marlboro.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a friend that lives down there.
Mm-hmm.
I went down to go to his birthday party a couple of years ago and forgot the way and wound up going all the way down to the state line.
Oh, wow. I've had times like that. In McCann, we actually have a co-op program where you can go out and work in your trade that you're doing. And I've been working on solar fields for Ryan Electric, and we had a solar field down in Southwick that I had to travel to every morning. Well, the first few times, I'll just say I was a couple minutes late showing up, especially when it started to snow. Lose your bearings a little bit easily.
People don't really take advantage of you to do things, do they? I mean, like there's churches and there's organizations that need work done, like down at or at some of the churches. How do they get in touch with somebody? They call the superintendent up, or they have to call?
Well, a lot of times we prefer emails. One email that would be able to get, or you'd be able to get in touch with people, is ctinney@mccantech.org.
Oh, okay, I have that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here, let me write it down anyway. C. Tinney.
TINNEY.
@mccantech.org.
Tech.org.
Yes.
Yes.
I should think it would be EDU.
No. You'd think it would be, but it's not.
Yeah, she works in the front office. It was actually one of our advisors for our chapter.
She works in the front office?
In the school office, not the district office.
No, yeah, the school office. I can't remember the last time I was in the office. I know Pat Durkee was there and Maureen Seneca was there. Okay, she must work just to the left as you go in the door.
Actually, not that office. There's the high school side office where if you head in through the front doors and you take a right, it'll be right to your right-hand side.
Okay, where Justin is.
Yep.
Yeah, all right, okay. I also met her. Yeah, I was down to see Justin a few years ago, I think, or last year over something. What are you holding up the phone? No?
And speaking of phones, we are about halfway through the show at this point, and we are desperate for people to call us. Please, don't let all the conversation be between these four idiots. Give us a call, 664-4408. Please, give us a call. Give us something to talk about. Take a guess at the names of the 3 of the 6 hotels in the picture behind us that you can't see because of these guys in the red suits that make us look so terribly underdressed. Thank you very much.
You'll probably get a phone call in 2 minutes.
All right.
You see who walked in.
I saw who walked in.
You were saying about the travel. Also, I didn't mention the national competition. Last year, I know that it was it in Louisville, Kentucky, or was
Louisville,
it in
Kentucky.
Kansas?
It was Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. They held the national competition at Louisville, Kentucky, and they school actually paid for the tickets for the flights and covered everyone
Yeah.
for
How
everyone. who
many
down.
went down?
We had a good amount. We had the 4 people on the AMT team. Then there was the was it the team from CAD?
Yeah,
They
I'm
went
pretty.
down.
Yeah, I think
Then
it
Amy
was.
Dowling went down. Yeah.
I think it was close to 10 people went down
Probably
or something like
about
that. Yeah,
Wow.
Couple of
McCann's
advisors
usually
were-
very successful in the skills competitions.
You know, if you go down there, I mean, I can act as an advisor,
Yeah,
Oh, I tried that card. It didn't work too well.
Well, I mean, I haven't been to Kentucky in I don't know how long.
Yeah, they got to see the baseball game. They went to an amusement park. They had the whole vacation experience while they were doing their competitions as well.
Well, I could go along as an advisor, telling people how to sabotage other people's projects.
I'm sure that's a little bit frowned upon, but they'd definitely place you.
Well,
Really?
they wouldn't have to know about it. That's the thing. And I mean, you don't announce. And we'd especially like to thank Mr. Marino, who told us how to sabotage everyone else's projects.
Did I say that? Whoopsies. Where's the rewind
I've
button?
never seen them before in my life, officer. Have I, Nathan?
No, never.
So now, is there any other advisor on the team except Cindy or Mrs. Chinney?
Yes, we have Miss Tinney and the 2 people who were here, but our live studio audience vanished. It
And
was
their names were again
Lisa Collins
Lisa Collins,
and Pamela Dorwin.
Pam Dorwin.
Yes. And we also have Mr. Tinney. He's
me
also
as well.
Oh, okay.
Is he really made of tin?
Well, every once in a while, you'll see him take the oil can and get the joints.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. Is he really that stupid? Yes, I am.
I didn't say that.
No.
No, but I could hear the
no,
3 of
yeah.
you thinking it.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
Jack. All Jack.
Whoa, wait a minute now.
So now we come to a lull. Paul, read another.
All right. Coming up on Saturday, March 24th at 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Berkshire Community College, the Live Out Loud 2018 Berkshire Conference. This is the 5th annual LGBTQIA+ Live Out Loud Community Conference. Everyone is welcome to go to that if they want to. It's a swell group of people, and I do encourage people to go to that. Also coming up, you have plenty of time to save the date, Saturday, April 28th, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. at MCLA here in North Adams. The Four Freedoms Coalition is having a Step Up Empowering Ourselves list of workshops. They are looking for people to present workshops. It's a diverse, nonpartisan Berkshires-based coalition united in support of the four freedoms: freedom of speech and religion, and freedom from fear and want, and against bigotry and prejudice. Isn't that 6 rather than 4?
No. The freedom of speech, they're going to put that on, and I just saw something on TV this week that really got me going. And I
Would
kinda,
it be April 4th Coalition?
No, it was out in Minnesota, they had a school that went outside for 17 minutes. They had a moment of silence for the students, okay? And one student held up a sign that said, "Guns don't kill people, people kill people." And they almost put him in a police car and took him away. Now, if that's not against your freedom of speech, I don't know what is. He didn't say anything, he just held a sign up, and the superintendent or principal of the school come over and told him to get, and he actually had the police escort him out.
Yeah, it's crazy enough. It puts me in mind of when the Native Americans were protesting the pipeline. They were sitting quietly, and the police came over and gave them the shot of tear gas in the face, or no, not tear gas, but mace.
Mace, yeah. Well, aren't you supposed to do that with the Native Americans? I mean, it's been going on since 1620, so.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah. People, people say the greatest thing that ever happened in this country was in the early 1800s when the Louisiana Purchase was, but they never purchased that land. They paid some other foreign country for it.
Yeah,
They
that's
didn't
true.
own it and just moved in, and the Shawnee and the Cherokee, and I don't want to get going. This is a non-political show.
Well, of course, the interesting thing about that is Thomas Jefferson believed that the natives had to be protected from the whites. Of course, his idea of protecting them was to move them off their land, put them on land that he didn't own to give them. And then when we decided, oh, we don't have enough room, we need to advance, we need to spread out more, they got moved again.
And they each got a gift, though, when they got moved. They each got a blanket, which had smallpox on it. Yeah. So,
Well, that was started by the Puritans.
yes.
Bless their sanctimonious hearts. Were you learning this in American history?
No, you don't teach that in school. They're forbid to teach that in school. I actually say
No, I hadn't heard that.
well, they must be, because nobody teaches that. I mean, you can't tell me that you're going to go and teach. If you go in and teach American history from day one, when the Pilgrims, well, actually before the Pilgrims landed here, all right, you're going to go against everything that America stands for.
Well, part of the problem is that the people in this country who buy the most textbooks are in Texas. And they don't want any of those things in them, that tell uncomfortable truths. So they tell the textbook publishers, you publish it the way we want it. Well, they do, and then we buy those books, and there are more and more things being left out.
We were watching TV last week, and my wife turned to me and said, "We were never told that in high school about World War II." I said, "Oh yeah, that happened. They just didn't." Wait a minute. You're not Bob Moulton, are you? We have to
No, I'm not.
We have to get away from this. I'm going back to the old TV show. Let's get back to doing good things, because we only got 16 minutes left.
Oh!
I expected a flood of phone calls to come in. I mean, everybody at McCann School knew that these two gentlemen were going to be on, and I contacted all my friends, both of them, that they were going to be on tonight, and call in. Your parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, or something. They must know something that we didn't mention.
Well, Nathan's parents live in Florida.
Oh, they do?
Yes. I don't know why they moved all the way down there and
Florida.
made him commute all the way up here to go to school.
Florida Mountain or Florida State?
Well, I tell you, I have a long commute to school every day. The flight, it's trying to board. You know how bad customs is?
Yeah, it's unreal.
They're from down in Florida?
No, they're up on the mountain.
Out on the mountain.
Yep.
The mountain. That's where I'll
Yeah, and they don't get us up there.
No, they don't. They don't even have phone service. So no.
Well, they didn't used to, but they do now.
Yeah, but I mean, if you got a cell phone, it's hard. There's certain
Oh, yeah,
places
that's
that you
true.
can't get through up there. And I'm up to Florida Mountain at least twice a month. I go to the senior center up there, and they put on some good meals. They put on some good programs.
They do.
Yeah, Paul Cormier puts on some very good programs. Of course, you know, I'm musically inclined, and he has a lot of good people come up from UMass, some of the people who teach down there to do music. And some of them I know from sight. When I went in a couple of times, I saw someone there that I used to sing backup for them a long time ago. I mean, a long time ago. And he puts on some good shows. And while we're talking about this, next Wednesday, it's going to be, because it got canceled this week, at Florida Mountain, next Wednesday, and I got to say at 2 o'clock, I say at 2 o'clock, there will be a corned beef and cabbage dinner. And I don't know what it is, $7 a person. But you can call the Florida Mountain Senior Center, they're in the book, and find out Florida Mountain, 11:30 it is. So if you're interested in corned beef and cabbage, if you don't get enough of it, because there is one this Saturday night at St. Elizabeth the Hungry Church at 5:30, I believe, dinner's being served. At 5 o'clock, they're serving cheese and crackers and stuff. And 5:30, and it's $12 a person. I don't know what it is for children. My children are all grown up, so there's another one. Another bit of information.
Oh, boy.
I know that, hey, you know, if you were involved in everything, you are involved in everything we're trying. It's, you know, retirees meeting. You're retired, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
You're not retired?
I won't be able to afford to retire. I'm going to have to keep working until I drop or they throw me out.
Well, probably the latter.
And I'm pretty heavy, so they're going to have problems throwing me out.
Well, first Thursday of every month, the Northern Berkshire retirees hold a meeting over at Guaylac Community Club. And our organization, of course, I'm the president, of course. That's because nobody else wants to do the work. That's the only reason. They had special guests. This month's guest is going to be William App, the basketball head coach at Williams College. So he'll be there 10 o'clock in the morning. It starts, if you're out there and you want to just take a skip over and listen to Mr. App talk, you're welcome to join us. It costs nothing. In fact, there's donuts and coffee available. I shouldn't have said that in front of Paul.
Donuts? I'm coming.
You got the three of us head started.
Well, if you get out of school, come on over.
We'll have to.
Absolutely.
Who cares about getting out of school? They can call in sick.
I just used to write a note and excuse myself.
Yep.
Yeah. Those days.
Now, speaking of upcoming events, I have one more announcement, and that is Saturday, March 24 at 7 p.m. at the MCLA Design Lab on Main Street. The Gray Comma is meeting. The Gray Comma is a group of people that get together to hear some professional writers reading their works, and then there is an open mic. And it's it is fun, and you should come along to that. And if you don't, I'm going to come to your house and shake my finger at you.
Oh, geez.
And I'll shake my finger at you, too. And speaking of shaking my finger at you, too, I'm about to shake my finger at you for not calling us at 664-4408 with something to talk about, questions for our guests, or to try to guess 3 of the names of the 6 hotels visible behind us.
How many do you have to have? 2?
3.
Oh, 3. I got 2.
Well, write it down and pass
I got
it
it
over. I'll
written
let you
down.
know if you're...
Okay, it's right here. The one's right here, Paul.
All right.
That's 2 of them.
Feel free to call in, because if you could show me up at all, I have no clue what those
Yes,
hotels
you are right about those 2.
Yes, I am right.
He is right.
That was Motel 6 and
And Motel 5.
And then
Actually, Motel 1 was a failure. Motel 2 was a failure. Motel 3, Motel 4, Motel 5. Who would have thought that someone would have held out and started Motel 6?
Well,
That
And then
reminds me
made
of
a
the
success.
WD-40.
Yeah.
40 attempts
Yeah.
at the solution.
Well, the reason why Motel 6 got going is because they left the light on.
This is Tom Bodett, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Now, speaking of, you were saying about the senior citizens.
Jack, that brings me to thinking about the Williamstown Commons, if you'd like to tell us
Right.
about that.
So it's still being in the works, but we are going to be giving them Easter cards this upcoming Easter and sending them over to the Williamstown Commons to, brighten up their day a little bit. It's a nice little surprise for them.
Very nice, very nice project. I know a lot of people over there.
Really.
In fact, my daughter-in-law works there.
I have a friend
Williamstown
whose mom
Commons.
works there. Yep.
Who?
My
friend?
friends. Yep.
Yeah.
We've done that. We started this about, what was it, last year we started this, I believe?
Yes, last year.
With Valentine's Day cards and then holiday cards, I believe.
Holiday cards.
Don't quote me on that.
I didn't quote anybody on this. I just got quoted on Paul at the 2 hotels, that's all. Can't think of the third one. They all begin with W.
No, 3 of them begin with W.
Oh, okay.
But there are 6 in the picture. Word of honor.
I know. I believe you.
Well, since we are desperate for things to talk about, Nathan, how's your sister doing?
She's doing well. She moved out of the house recently, last year. Now I have a really big bedroom. I can't complain about that. There's my own bathroom as well.
Oh, wow.
She had it good for a couple years. But she works at the Zor ziplining place over across the hill on Charlemont. And she's actually pursuing a degree in music therapy.
In what?
Music therapy.
Really?
Yep. She's always been really gifted when it comes to music.
Music therapy.
I didn't realize that music needed therapy.
Well, I know as a fact for myself at least,
Oh, yeah.
listening to music is definitely a great way to calm down and just mellow out, relax. Definitely helps me.
Well, next time you see her, you give her a big kick from me.
I definitely will.
And she'll have to forgive you, because as she's chasing you around the house, you can be screaming to her, but you're my sister. I love you. I'd never kick you, but I was on TV with Paul Marino and he told me to. And you give a helpless shrug, and what can she say?
Not much. You can't refuse the word Paul Marino.
That's right.
That is one thing I learned over my many years with
Yes. Do you remember the rules for showing up at rehearsal?
I do not.
Oh, for shame.
Rehearsal for what?
Well, I used to direct plays up in Florida, and I had some rules for coming to rehearsal. Of course, if you accept a part, you have to come to all of the rehearsals. And if you're homesick from school, it's not an excuse for missing rehearsal, because if you're well enough to stay home in bed, you're well enough to come to rehearsal. And having a dental appointment is no excuse, because the dentist only needs to see your teeth. I own the rest of you.
You're a tough man to work for.
Yeah.
We put on some great productions, though.
Oh, yes.
I went to one of your productions up to, was it Florida Mountain? Up to the school,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, you
yeah.
had one of them up there. You scared the little kids, I know that.
Well, that goes without saying.
Was it the Wizard of Oz or
No,
No,
wouldn't have been the
no.
Wizard of Oz.
the Wizard of Id?
The 12 Dancing Princesses.
No.
Jack was one of them.
Oh, absolutely. You would love to see me in a tutu. You wouldn't believe what I can do.
Please don't give me no feeling like that. I have no self-control. I need a drink.
What's in that stuff you guys are drinking?
I don't know. He gave
You're
it to
getting
us.
happy, I know that.
Yeah, let me
poison's
see.
kicking in.
We did Snow White.
Snow White. That's the one. Snow White. The little,
Yes, with,
little,
and
the
we
wicked,
had-
the wicked mother, not the wicked mother, the wicked witch that gave her the apple. Snow White gave her the
Yeah.
apple. All right. The Wicked Witch was scared of you. She was actually scared of you.
Now, we actually did that show twice,
Yeah.
and you must have seen the second one.
I don't know which one I
Second
saw, but
production,
I
yeah.
saw one of them.
Yeah, the first one had Ashley Burdick in it when she was in second grade. Tiny little thing. I don't think she was quite as tall as this table. And the teachers were amazed at how fearless she was of me. And she'd come up and talk to me as if she'd known me all her life. Mm-hmm. She was the first child up there ever to kiss me. I was having lunch with a teacher. She came over and asked me a question. I said, well, let me check on that. And I turned to Mrs. Dugal and asked her, and I got the information and gave it to Ashley, and she digested that, reached up, planted one here, and walked away.
How about that?
Yeah. Sweet kid.
Okay, we're down to less than 4 minutes.
And you know, now that she's out of college, she isn't that much taller than she was.
I can't imagine.
She's out of college now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she has I think it's a PhD in pharmacy.
Wow.
That's a great career.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That definitely is. Now
No, go ahead.
you were asking about my sister. One thing you'll be happy to hear is when she went into high school, she continued with the theatrics, and she was actually freshman year. She was picked as the lead role for Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz,
Terrific.
and she continued on and I think she's a member of the Thespian Society.
Mm-hmm.
I did
And it's
it.
all my fault.
Do you remember the show that I did? You probably remember it.
Remind me.
Pippin.
Nope.
No?
I don't remember seeing Pippin.
Oh, man, I was
All right,
Eric. Charlemagne.
It's safe to take the phone off now. We're at that point in the show. So this is where we're going to give the answer to the hotels. So why don't you give the names of the two that you recognize?
I recognize the Wilson House and the Wellington down on the end of the street on the right. Those are the ones
That's right. So here is the key. Starting on the left, there is the big building that looks like a mansion. That's the Mansion House Hotel, because it looks like a Second Empire mansion. Its claim to fame was no hotel in North Adams was closer to the railroad depot. Down behind that, you see the big numbers there, the 3 and the 23. They're on the side of a building with porches on the front. That building and the one behind it are the Richmond Hotel. Now, next to the six-story building in the center, there's an alley, and then you can see the white stripe of one edge of a building. That is the Wilson House
That's the
Hotel.
Wilson House.
When it was built in 1863, it was the most expensive hotel in Western Massachusetts.
Wow. $2 a month.
Now, coming forward on the right side, there is the 5-story building there. That's the Wellington Hotel. And then right next to that, there is a low 3-story building. And like the 6-story block in the background, it's only 3 windows wide. That was the Windsor House Hotel. It was a wood frame structure. And on the other side of the alley, closer to us, there is a brick building, exactly the same, 3 windows wide, but it goes back a ways, and that's the Hotel Brunswick.
Wow. So how did I miss the Richmond?
I don't know.
I wasn't thinking.
Well, I think you were thinking in terms of, oh, they all have W's.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But
Yeah.
only 3 of them have W's
Okay.
in the names.
We
So,
got 1 second,
I'm
we're off
sorry.
the air.
So I guess you get the bragging rights for tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you. Are we running
We're out
over?
of time.
Eric, where we go?